So you're free to just kind of explore and just see wherever you go, and then you just turn around and come home whenever you want. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I rate them. Real fun.
Do you have like a lock for it, or like when you're charging it, like, or do you just keep it?
No, yeah, keep it beside me. Yeah.
That's so cool. Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if anybody, I of course love it, and I'm like, everybody must at least try it. If there's a place in your city that sells them, they might let you do a little test ride, so you should have a go.
It reminds me of like when I
looking for them now.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Adam. Yes. Yeah.
It reminds me of like the hoverboard. It's like kind of the closest thing to kind of like a hoverboard, I guess. Well, other than like hovering, I guess,
Yeah.
right? But it looks
it
looks
is
like it when
closest.
people are going on it. I'm like, wow, that's so cool.
They call the people in the hobby, they call it floating, because it just kind of feels like you're floating around, and it feels a little bit snowboardy. Oh man, I could freaking talk about it for hours. So
Good.
That's what the show's going to be about.
This is what we're hoping, right? Well, with that though, I do want to welcome everybody. Welcome to No Grade Sessions episode. I don't even know what episode this is anymore, because we just started this back in what is it at the end of May. So welcome, guys. This is your Master Grade Jess, and I am here with Adam.
How's it going?
We have Joshua. And then Ryan. So they're all here with me today. And as you guys noticed, because I started the stream literally like 2 minutes ago, they were just talking, right? They're talking about everything, what different hobbies we're in, or they're kind of delving into that's not only Gunpla and all that. And I do want to remind you that this is what No Great Sessions is about. We got Choco Falcon in the chat saying hello, handsomes.
Hey.
So he's in there. But yeah, seriously, welcome, guys. I want to remind you that today's episode is sponsored by USA Gundam Store, and if you guys want to go and check out their website, you guys can, and use our code TALK10 to save 10% on your next purchase. But with that said, this is a 90-minute show. We're just going to chat, we're going to have fun, and we're going to start off just by basically continuing the conversation that you guys were having. So in this case, Joshua is talking about something that he's kind of exploring now, which is the, what did you call it, the one-wheel board?
One wheel. This is like a little mini version that you get. A little one-wheel board. It's got a little motor inside, and it's kind of like a Segway. You stand on it, and you go like left and right, and it's so much fun. You can kill yourself on it because it goes fast. And the thing is, like, if you take one foot off like a skateboard, you're like, oh, I want to get off. It'll just keep going forward and flick out, and you do the splits. And so there's heaps of videos. Adam, if you're thinking of getting one, don't watch any videos yet. Or actually, maybe watch videos, and then you'll see how bad it could be, and then you'll be safe.
Don't
A lot of
scare the
broken
poor man.
ankles.
But sorry, a lot of broken. It tends to be collarbones because people will go like this. They'll go too fast, and if you go faster than the board's power can hold in the hub, it will turn off. The nose will hit, and you go this way, and then your collarbone goes like this and just opens up. So there's a lot of collarbone things on there yet. So you got to learn how to roll when you fall and try to not have your wrists out like that. But I have all helmet and elbow pads, and I'm safety boy, so that if I fall off, I don't get hurt. But it's real fun because it's when you start a new thing, like a new hobby or a new sport, there's that early stage where it's just thrilling. And I think it's, what do they call it? It's when the mental challenge, the challenge is just above your ability. So you're like, oh, I can almost get that. And then you go, boop, and you leap up a bit. And then the next challenge is just a little bit more above that. So each time you do it, you get this, I don't know if it's dopamine, whatever, all these releases. You're like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Holy crap. And I had that with learning to fly racing drones as well. You just get better and better each time. And that's what makes it so much fun. Yeah, so I'm kind of in that stage. So I go riding with my two friends on weekends, mountain bike trails, and it's really fun. Yeah, it's cool.
Sounds fun. Sounds
that
fun.
little one that you have there, Josh, is that something that came with it, or did you build that?
No, I didn't build that.
It's a GBWC entry.
You can that's it. No, you can just buy these off of the website. But what I did is my friend bought me this for like a little birthday present. The real ones have little lights here. So when you turn it on, these are kind of like your headlights, and then you have red ones for the back for the tail light. And there's a little light on the top when you're turning it on to show you how much battery you have. Now, of course, I'm like, oh man, I got to get some little nano LEDs. So I'm currently buying some, and I'm going to slice this open, try and buy a little real rubber tire, because this is plastic, and then put some LEDs in here, a little battery, and then weather it up, because mine's beat up and scratched. So that's my current plan. So a little bit of Plamo.
You can put your Zeta on there too and make a little diorama. No, I'm just kidding.
That's so good. I remember that episode.
I just want to say, that I think that's one of my favorite parts about you, Joshua, is every time you come on here, it's always very like visual, right? Last time you did like a full on like presentation on how to do panel lines and designs. This time you have a little model right in front of you of what you do, and with that, I also enjoy the fact that you haven't only just stayed with Gunpla and Gundam, Plamo side. You've actually explored other areas like the FOB drone, right, which you were just talking to Adam about. And then right now you're doing the one-wheel board and all of that stuff. And I kind of want to ask all of you guys, like, aside from Gundam and Gunpla, right, which is obviously where we all come from in some way and the reason why we know each other, right, what else have you guys kind of, like, gone into? Like, what other hobbies have you guys explored? So I kind of want to know.
I know Josh has also done woodworking, too. I was really impressed by your game board that you made. That was so amazing.
my game board, yes. I made a crocodile board, which I don't know if anybody else knows what that is. It's a game originating from Canada where you flick these little discs and it's kind of like shuffleboard. And I saw them online. It looked like a really fun game, but they're so expensive to buy because they're so big to deliver. So I looked up a lot of tutorials online and made that. And I hadn't done anything in wood in a long time. And man, working with wood. Have any of you guys done any woodwork before?
I have not.
That's in junior high. I did a workshop class, but that's pretty much it.
Whoa, man. It's so lovely because it's such a forgiving medium. It's like strong enough, but you can just cut right through it. You can sand it. Wood glue dries really strong as well. And just the smell. I don't know if you guys some hobbies or some things that you do, you go, oh, the smell, like making coffee. It's the same with woodwork. You're having the joy of putting it all together and you get the smell all around you. It's so nice. Yeah. And then you put that oil on top and it makes the grain kind of glisten and kind of flicker. Oh, it's like putting a clear coat on a candy coat. Oh my gosh, it's so nice.
No, I've definitely talked to my wife about doing woodworking later on, like when we have enough space to do it. Because with all these like YouTube channels of antique restoring and whatever, like they always do something with wood, with like they'll do a lot like restoring this rusty knife from like, I don't know, 60 years ago, and then they'll do the handle. I love those YouTubers. And then and they're like working with the wood and shaping it to whatever they want, and then they put that oil on top, and it looks beautiful, and you're like, man, what we can achieve with a little bit of time. But that's awesome. I didn't know you had explored woodworking.
Give me a sec. I have one show and tell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, that's so cool.
I love it. Just very visual, very visual. Yeah. How about you, Adam? What have you been up to, man?
Oh man, so I don't obviously have a lot of time, but yeah, I got back into the drone racing recently. Not more of just regular flying than racing. Like I was telling Josh, I got a Crocodile Baby 4, and it's more made for kind of like long distance. You can go up to 30 minutes on the battery. If you're going, nice and slow and just kind of doing those aerial flying. Whereas like an FPV drone, you're good for maybe like 3 minutes, Josh. So
yeah, depending how fast you're. Yeah, four if you're taking it easy.
Yeah, so been getting back in that lately. When you have kids, it's mostly that's kind of your hobby there. Get doing all the stuff that they're involved in. So yeah, that's kind of what I've, other than Gunpla, been into recently. Is that pretty much.
That's pretty cool. I mean, children definitely take up a lot of time. I don't know about Ryan, because I know Ryan's the only other person who has children here, because I don't have any children.
Yeah, no, I second everything Adam said, except I don't do drone flying. I wish I was into that, but not enough time. Well, Josh, you had something to show us.
Oh yeah. Now I did this ages ago. Forgive me if you've seen this. You guys remember the old iPod minis?
Yeah.
These ones, like the old ones. This is just the shell of one. Yeah.
Ooh.
I had one.
The OG.
This is like 10 or so years ago. And I had one, and I'm like, what about if I made like a wooden shell for it? So I took the guts out. So actually like slid it all out and then carved some. Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Does the rotary dial work on it?
It does. It's out of battery right now because it's just in my drawer. So the thing that I wanted to be all wood if I could do it. So this is like Australian red cedar. It's a nice soft wood, but it's really nice and red. This is some camphor laurel, which is a really nice aromatic wood. So I did the little contrast there, and some brass plates on the top and bottom that I kind of cut just from some big long strips, and then the Dremel was my main tool that I used for this whole thing. Wow. I don't know if you guys have any Dremels or anything. Yeah. And I did it pretty much in a weekend where I was just focusing at my desk, just working on it. But yeah, the click wheel, what I wanted was I didn't want to have to put the white plastic one in there and ruin the whole wood aesthetic. So when I was building it, when I got to that stage, I'm like, okay, I pulled off a click wheel and I'm like, oh, this is just plastic. And the sensor is kind of underneath. Mm-hmm. And how it works is it sends a signal up. And if your finger or conductive tissue bounces it back, it knows where the finger is, and then when you move, it sends that signal again and bounces again, and that's how it works. So I'm like, maybe the wood just needs to be super thin. I cut it down, put it on, and it was kind of working, and then I filed it down a little bit more. It's 1.5 mil, and it's tick, 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 and I squealed. I was so happy.
Awesome.
So yeah, it works. Yeah.
That is so cool.
And then
that looks.
I don't know if you remember, but it's like it is a bit steampunk
so
with
cool.
the brass and the it's cool. I love it. And then they had Wi-Fi. No, FM transmitter, and I made this one. So I cased that out of wood, so that goes on top as well. So they used to be called the iTrips, and then it came with a dock as well. So I made the dock. So
just everything wood. There we go.
And then there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was really fun. Yeah. And super satisfying. Nowhere near as much work as doing like a GBWC entry, but so satisfying. Yeah. So there you go.
I was waiting for you to be like, really and then I plug it into my iPad. That is also
wood. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Where does it stop?
And then attached onto my computer.
Josh needs help.
Where does it stop? Really cool, Josh. That's really awesome.
Yeah, cool. If you look up like wooden iPod Mini Josh online, I've got like a Flickr account with some nice photos and stuff. It looks a lot better there, but it's one of my. I bring it out and I look at it every few years. I'm like, oh damn, that was really fun.
That's amazing.
So, it's cool.
For the body part, did you just take like a solid block of wood and just hollow it out in the middle, or did you take two and then combine it together? How did you do that?
Well, I wanted the grain. I didn't want to just use two halves and two different pieces of wood. I wanted the grain to line up on the side, so I had a block of wood, cut it down the middle, and then opened it up, and then hollowed out the inside here, and then put the electronics in, tested it, and while doing that, I didn't really know electronics very much, and soldering or anything, and while putting it and testing it in, I broke the headphone jack, and I think the screen or something, so I finished it and then had to send it away to the States and wait a couple months for it to be repaired. So that was that. You have ups and downs, like when you're customizing a kit or something and you break something and your stomach drops and it feels like the world's ending, and it's not. It was really fun. If you look up the photos, you can see all the little details of it taken apart and stuff. So every few years I take it apart and oil it up again and polish up the brass, and it's really fun.
It's crazy, man. Like where does your talent stop? Like it's crazy.
If it's meticulous and super fine, and if you need me to sit there for 10 hours at the desk, I'll do it.
That's amazing.
I think it's like a ADHD kind of tendency, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I just want to say real quick hi to Vandril, who says, what's up, y'all? And then Choco Falcon says, you need to make the wire wood, too. So,
yes. I thought I had done something good, but he has shown me that I just failed. Yeah.
There's more. There's more that you can do.
You'll be good.
No, that's awesome. I can't, when you said you worked with wood, I wasn't expecting you to bring out a full-blown iPod with the bass and the FM trend. That's crazy, man. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was expecting a chair or something like that.
Yeah.
that iPod there was way cooler.
It's the craziest thing. Cool. It's the craziest thing. It's awesome. But I mean, it's. I'm glad that you mentioned and it touched upon the whole fact that it has to be meticulous and sitting there for 10 hours straight and working with something. And I think that's one of the. When we talk about hobbies, one of my favorite things is being able to work with my hands. So I mean, of course, I don't think I have a lot of hobbies. That's actually something that I've been speaking to my wife about, getting out of. Not getting out of Gundam, as in branching out and doing other things, right? I want to get back to playing the guitar more and practicing, but it's still very based on the hands. So I guess because even like racing with the drones, that's very everything's being controlled with your hands too, right? So it's kind of hand coordination. That's amazing. Like it seems like you're kind of like honing your abilities with your hands and your coordination, like just all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I think what I enjoy is just when the activity demands so much focus, that's when it just goes like insert angel sound, and you're just like yes, and it's just your tunnel vision and you're just in the zone. So even if it's not totally hand based, it's that focus level that's really cool. I just got a little magnet whiteboard thing to put above my desk to put up hobbies / activities or things that I am scared that I won't do in my life because I'm getting older, and I'm like, wait, am I just never gonna be a really good guitarist or something like that? And I'm like, a year goes by and I'm like, that's right, I wanted to do that thing, and I'm like, I gotta stop having those moments happen. So I've got this little whiteboard up there that I'm gonna put things up there like I want to get an electric drum kit because I used to drum ages ago, but I don't anymore, and electric drum kits are just phenomenal now, so I want to get an electric drum kit to do that. But then I also would like to get into paragliding because I have a friend who does that, where he just jumps off of things and he just goes flying and he catches thermals and stuff. And I'm like, there's things like that where I just forget that I want to do. Do you guys have any kind of hobby things that you'd like to do? Maybe when your kids are older and they've moved out?
Well, I don't want to do paragliding. That scares me.
I like the honesty.
I don't know if I could handle that. I don't even like flying, so that would be a nightmare for me.
Honestly, like
things that, when my kids get older and I have more time, I always like. I love RC stuff, but just being able to kind of go more places and with when we were talking about like the drone stuff, I'm more into like the scenery, going someplace, flying over the ocean. But being able to go to more places and see more places, I think would be cool. I'm sure there's going to be hobbies that we don't even know exist in 10 years that will be there. So it's hard to hard to think, really.
I mean, how about you, Ryan?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. Like, I feel like in our family, like we really like just crafting and making things with our hands, and so. I don't know. I think if it's not for Gundam or Gunpla, like first of all, there's so much even in that realm that I have not tried out before. Like, I don't know. I really want to try building dioramas and stuff like that. There's a lot of really amazing like artists I follow that just looks like so realistic. But anyways, even within the modeling world, there's so many things I haven't tried yet. But I don't know. Like, like I feel like right now I'm just really enjoying doing scale modeling. So it's hard for me to think of like any other hobby for now, and because time is pretty limited, right? Like because of my girls and stuff, and so like if it's not spending time with them, it's usually just time, working on modeling, and that's pretty much it. But in terms of hobbies I want to do, I don't know actually. Like I've gotten more into biking, so like I don't know, maybe mountain biking.
Cool.
I just picked up my mountain bike today. Actually, I ordered it back in April, and then finally it came. So,
wow!
So I'm super excited to take it out on its maiden voyage tomorrow. But yeah, who knows? That might open up a whole new world. Because this last year we did a lot more biking with the girls. Now that they're able to go out more, so I think that's maybe one area I would want to get into more. So, but I have to be careful, like I don't break my wrists or anything, or get injured, right? Because like so that's another that's another thing, right? So like I have to be very careful because like I can't. I've always wanted to learn how to snowboard, right? But like I can't. I it's kind of a little too dangerous for me because if anything happens, I can't work, right? So, but yeah. So I guess I have to be selective with how risky these activities or hobbies can be. So
yeah, once I have kids, I know a lot of these one-wheeling and stuff. I'm going to tone down my speed a bit, and I'm going to really take, because I'm like, man, this is what's giving half the food to the house. So,
you'll get there, Josh. It's
gotta think about the dangers.
It's crazy that Ryan, like, he says that because it relates so much to me. Like there are things I want to do, but you got to assess that risk because I fall and break my legs I mean, I'm not really going to be doing a lot here in the warehouse. So.
A lot of things you got to assess. But I do want to answer it because I did think of one. Going back to the whole antique stuff. What I would want to learn how to do, and this all started with Watchmen. I don't know if you guys have seen Watchmen, the movie.
Yep.
I just rewatched it like a month ago.
And I love that movie, but one of my favorite scenes, and my wife knows this, is when they show how Dr. Manhattan came to be. And one of my favorite parts of that scene is when his father is telling him it's basically teaching him how to take apart a whole watch and then put it back together. I would love to learn how to take apart a whole watch, like a whole actual watch, and just put it back together. You know, because just watching these videos, these antique videos of them restoring these things and watching them do watches and putting all the little gears back and taking everything out. To me, it's wonderful because all of that constrained into this tiny thing makes watch what we something to keep time, and to me it's wonderful. So I would love to do that in the future when I think for me right now it's not so time because I don't have any kids, but I think it's more like financial stuff because when you get to working with watches or with clocks or whatever, those tools are expensive, right?
Yeah. There's this company that actually sells a watch that you can make yourself, assemble yourself.
Oh, really?
And I forgot. Yeah, it's actually really cool. It comes with a base set of tools. Basically, I think everything you need to combine the components together, and it's really really cool. If I see the ad for it sometime, because I'm actually a quasi watch nerd, not crazy, but I really I did some small mods to my watches and stuff like that. But so this kit is really cool because you buy it and I think it's separating all the components and you assemble everything together, and then it's just and you wear. It's not the most accurate watch, right? But it's just really cool to think that you assembled it, right? So yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's cool. I think you like it too, Josh.
Yeah.
It'll make you sit there for 10 hours, like you said. So you gotta get into it,
man. They purposely the watch is set 10 hours slow, so by the time you turn it on, it's the right time.
And Josh will make all the cogs out of wood, and so this entire thing will be wood.
It'll just shatter as soon as you turn it on.
What was it? Yesterday, we actually, since things are starting to get back to normal here in Alberta. I say normal in quotes, right? Because what is normal nowadays, right? Of course, I still wear a mask when I go out in public places, right? But we actually got to go out and have some Korean barbecue. So everybody in the GTS crew with some people in CGC and stuff, and we went out and we drank a lot. It was just really fun. We came back home at 12 o'clock at night, and but the whole point of this, which I'm starting to forget. Kevin. My boy Kevin, he showed me that he had a watch that his father gave him. It's the Rolex, and when he let me hold the Rolex, I wasn't thinking about how beautiful it looks from the outside. I'm thinking to myself I want to look at the inside. I want to turn it over. I want to see what's in there. Those little things turning because Rolexes, and the reason why they're awesome is because of how precise they are within their gears and everything. And I don't know. I think that'd be something to explore. And of course, I want to get back into playing music. I really do want to get into playing the guitar again because I have really been lazy about it. And I think since we're in the topic of hobbies, it's more of discipline, right? I think a lot of people lack discipline, and I'm no stranger to that. I lack the discipline for even Gundam sometimes. That's why I admire you guys, because when it comes to discipline, and I see you guys doing what you did. And by the way, congratulations, Ryan, on getting featured on Awesome Toys. That was such an awesome video.
What? I'm gonna go watch it now.
Go watch it right now.
Oh man, cool.
Thanks, no.
Yeah, congratulations, man. How did that feel? I mean, I saw it on Facebook, so of course I knew how you felt because you were replying to everyone. But you as a person, how did you feel when you saw that?
I was just blushing the whole time, man. No, it's honestly, I don't know. I every time my work gets shared, I just feel so honored, right? And so Yeah, no, it was really cool. Like the channel, Awesome Toys TV. Like they're so precise and concise with all the information, and I'm just so impressed by how they represent everything. And so it was, it was an honor, honestly, an absolute honor for them.
So cool, man.
To feature,
Speaking of which, I'm sorry to go back to Gunpla because it kind of just rotates back into it. But I do have a question for Adam, and I'm sure he's been asked. He has his Q&As with Zaku, Aurelius, and all that. So sorry that I have to ask you questions, but I do have a question. Regarding like builders, who do you look up to, Adam?
Oh, man.
If you look up to anyone.
So Josh, obviously is one. I actually have in my office one of his big poster-sized drawings of his Sinanju. They did. It's actually sitting, it's just to the right of me on the wall.
Cool.
But yeah, like I one of the builds, I love the Sinanju Stein, and you built the Sinanju Stein, and it's so hard for me to find pictures of that.
Really?
I found probably a year ago. I found a whole bunch of them, but I love that build. Who else? I mean, Tim, Child of Mecca, he's great. I mean, a lot of people that I've kind of worked with and dealt with are probably most of my Choco Falcon. I don't know if he's still in the chat. He is one of my favorite. He's definitely up there. I love the Sinanju that he did for GBWC. Forgive me if he's still in there. I don't remember what he named it, but it's like a pinkish reddish. And to me, it looks like it's like an underwater mobile suit. But I don't know if that's what he was going for. But he's one of my top one. E-Day. I mean, he's very talented. I love all his builds. His builds are very mechanical. You look at all of his stuff. He's got so many pistons, and it's just really cool. To me, it's really cool work. So I would put those probably as some of my top builders. When I'm building a kit and I need inspiration, you go through. I'll look at some of their builds. I'll go on. I can't think of the website right now. Where people submit their build and then people can vote on them. I forget what the website.
Oh,
is.
the G-Modelers?
Yeah. And there's a lot of really good builders on there. And there's a lot of really good like Japanese and Chinese builders. There's it might have been, obviously it wasn't last year, but maybe the year before that, someone built a koi fish with their Gundam, and I don't remember who they are, and forgive me for that, but I thought that was amazing.
Was it the GBWC winner of 2019?
I don't know if they won.
China entry?
It had like a base, and it was kind of like a thing going like this.
Yeah.
And somebody was riding it, sort of, I think.
It was like behind the mobile suit, wrapping around like the right of it, the koi fish was.
Was it an Exia? Was it an Exia or no?
I just remember the koi fish.
It was a fish. It was a fish, man.
Yeah, but a lot of those, I don't even know their names. I don't know how to read, Chinese or Japanese or obviously Mandarin. But a lot of those builders, I'll follow them on Twitch and stuff like that, or not on Twitch, on Twitter and Instagram. And if I knew how to read that, I would shout them out now. I just don't know how, unfortunately. But I don't know if that answered your question. I know
it did. It did. I mean, it's wonderful. It's wonderful as somebody who, of course, with USA Gundam Store, you're not just in it to sell the kits or whatever, right? Like you actually are part of the community, looking at all this stuff, at these amazing builders. And one of the things I want to say is like you're right. Like lately, I've been exploring more the side of the internet where you get to go in and look at Japanese builders that don't really have the name, or Chinese builders, and you're like, man, these guys are amazing, but they're not on Instagram. They're like on the Chinese sites or the Japanese sites, and I can't read any of that stuff. And the Google Translate barely works sometimes, right? But it's wonderful. And real quick, I just want to say, Choco Falcon said, "Yes, I'm handsome." So he's still in there. And then Drawn says, Joshua's Sato for GBWC is still one of my favorite builds ever.
Oh, cool! Oh man, I'm glad to hear it. That's still my favorite build I've ever done. Whenever I bring it out, I'm like, oh, it makes me so happy.
Cool. Actually, for me too, it's one of my favorite builds ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I absolutely love this.
Man,
it's so
cool.
You know what I want? I was so excited for this because when I first told Ryan, hey, Josh is going to be on with us, Ryan was like, Josh is my hero. And then Ryan's
that's awesome.
And Ryan's my hero, so it's like I get to like, you know, be all like, oh my god, it's Ryan, and Ryan's like, oh my god, it's Joshua, and it's just, of course you too, Adam, you know, but
I wanted to meet Adam as well too.
Yeah,
so,
no, for sure.
Yeah.
No, Adam is like the nicest guy, and I also remember like first talking to Adam, and Adam's just he was like, yeah man, you can call me, because one of the things I hate being one of the people who just messages people. I like having the conversations. You can even ask Ryan. When I was building my stuff, I'm like, can I call you? Because I'd rather have the conversation than always text. Because I like to hear the person's voice and how they kind of tell you things. But one of the things I do want to say about your Seta, Joshua, is that I've fallen more in love with it ever since I read like your book. Because I do go back to it. Sometimes I stay up. And that's when I message you. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning over here. I'm messaging you, and my wife knows. I'll sit there and I'll have your book out on my phone, because I wish, like, obviously you went into how you did everything, right? Well, most of everything. But the first part I wish was longer, because reading your thoughts, it really kind of puts me in a like peace of mind. Like, okay, I'm not dealing like this guy is way ahead of me in level, and he had these thoughts, so I can relate. And I just fell in love with it. Though I do love your Sinanju.
No hurt feelings. They're all
but the Seta, like I really fell in love with it through your thoughts. I really did, and I think if you could, like, maybe that's another hobby you should look into, is writing books. Yeah, just putting down your thoughts. Just putting down your thoughts, because it's one of the most sincere things I've ever read, and when I feel. Because I obviously get second thoughts. I read it back into it. I'm like, this champion, this guy, has had these thoughts. So I'm a normal person, too.
Yeah. That was Jeff Longman. He was the one who said, man, you should add some more stuff to the book and put your thoughts and stuff in there and talk about the journey and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, right. And I did it, and I had a lot of fun writing it up. And then just hearing this stuff, that's so cool. Because... yeah, with all the photos and the things we post and stuff, you sometimes miss out on just the person behind it. And if that makes sense and clicks, that's super cool. Yeah, because we are all the same, even though we kind of think that other people are superstars or whatever. We're all the same. We all think the same stuff, worry about the same things, hit the same roadblocks. Okay, maybe I haven't read that book since I wrote it. I'll have to go back through it, see if I can add anything to it.
I told you
3.0 of the book. Yeah.
I told you once. It was literally sitting. I honestly feel, and I'm not exaggerating, guys. If you guys can go and donate and get the book, it's literally like sitting down and having a conversation with this guy. Like I love it. I love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces with all of this. But I do want to say, Choco Falcon says Joshua's the best. Sorry, Ryan.
I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you.
Oh man, you guys!
I love it. I love the banter. So I'm gonna go into some questions. Remember, this is not an interview, but our Patreons had some questions, so I feel inclined to ask them to you guys, because they are for everybody. Old School Skill says it would be cool to hear the different sides of the buyer-seller experience being in the hobby. So he wants to know the perspective as a fan of Gundam buying kits. So when you guys go and buy kits, as a fan, what kits do you go for? You know, like, what are you a fan of in the Gundam universe that you want to buy? Like, you see, you're like, I want it. So I'd want to know what you guys have for that. We'll start with Adam, because he literally lives in a world of Gundam. He could just grab whatever off the shelf.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because for me it's actually a two-part question. Because what do I buy myself look for, and then what do I actually buy for the store? And trying to figure out what other people will want to buy. For me personally, I obviously look for what I think looks aesthetically pleasing at first, and then once I get that, then my mindset is how can I make this better, versus I guess buying something that I don't like at first and then trying to make it better. For me, that's kind of what I look for at buying stuff, and I always love new tools. The new paints, new ways to I'll go on YouTube and look for new ways. Every time I build something, so I'm kind of skipping all over the place. Every time I build a kit, I always try to do something new that I haven't done before on a past kit. So I'll watch YouTube videos or go through different pictures that I have saved, learning or watching someone else do it, and then get the stuff to do it, and then either crash and burn and learn, or try to succeed through it.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting buying, Gunpla as a store, because here, and I'm sure it's this way around the world, we used to have to order about 3 months in advance. So Bandai would give us a list of what they are planning to remake, and then we order based off that list what we think we will sell in 3 months' time. And that includes all the new stuff, so you got to kind of figure out, okay, is this kit going to be popular? If it is, how many do I need to order so I can make sure I don't sell out in pre-order and I still have plenty in stock when it comes out.
How do you do this? I don't know how you do
it's like
that.
fortune telling almost.
It's almost impossible to do it.
Yep.
But now, with the way everything is, Bandai has now changed it to now we order 6 months in advance. And we order in 3-month chunks. So it's even harder, and then you don't always get everything you order now, kind of with the demand and the cut. So it's a very difficult thing right now for any store that's selling Gundam kits, because one, you don't know if you're going to get your full order. You don't know, they're cutting things off that production list left and right, just because they don't have production capacity to make everything on that list, depending on how much, because that list goes to everyone in the world, and then it comes right back to Bandai, and then Bandai's like, okay, this kit, everyone wants this kit, have a certain amount of time to produce these kits, so the kits that have the less demand just get cut off and don't even get made.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the buying world of a Gundam store.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like Ryan said, it's fortune telling. It's basically what it is.
I mean, it is and it isn't. One advantage I guess I have is I've been in this. We've been in business 8 years, so I can kind of gauge, and I'm wrong a lot, but for the most part, you can kind of gauge what designs people will go after.
RG High
if it's a new real grade kit, like for example, the new real grade high new kit. I mean, that's going to sell, so it's a no-brainer. So really, your hard part is trying to figure out, what kit was similar to this, which would be, I guess, the real grade new, real grade Sazabi. How many did we sell in pre-order? And then you kind of compare those numbers, where I guess it would stink for somebody just starting their store. They don't have any data, and hopefully they're starting the store because they like Gundam kits, not because they are seeking the money. Because if they are seeking the money, they're not going to know anything. So it's an advantage to build them myself and like certain things, and that kind of helps some of the fortune telling that's needed. But yeah.
That's one of the things I really like about you and your stores, because like definitely you're like a builder first and foremost, right? Like I really love Gunpla stores. There's a couple in Canada here too where the owners are builders themselves, and I just love that, because you can tell kind of the passion that they just have for the hobby, and so I think it's great when the owners themselves are enthusiasts themselves as well too, right? So yeah, that's great, especially a store as big as yours too, right? So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a challenge because we have a storefront attached to our warehouse here, and people will call me to meet me in the storefront, and then I'll talk to them for 2 hours, and I'll get done. They'll leave, and I'm like, dang man, I need to get all this stuff done, but we'll just start talking about different kits and stuff, and it's
a black hole.
That's a challenge right there.
Yeah, that's great.
It happens. It happens. No, that's awesome. How about you, Ryan? When you look for a kit, like what are you looking for?
So it's interesting. My concepts changed a lot over the years. When I first got into Gunpla, I would buy just any kit that I thought looked really cool. I still, not every. I buy much less kits now, right? But I would always be like, oh, this kit looks so cool, I'm gonna get it. This kit looks so cool. But of course, we all experience, the buildup of our backlog and everything, right? And so, what's changed over the years is once I started kind of customizing kits, then I look more towards designs I like, but also like designs that maybe I see like potential in, like there's a lot. I really love trash to treasure stuff, like what Zach's doing on his page, with the Tristan before that he did. I love that kind of stuff where when you look at something firsthand, you're like, wow, like this is like a crappy version of this one model, right? And it's like, oh yeah, it is, but I see some potential, and then when you can change that, it's like, wow, like personally, it's very, very satisfying, and so I've kind of turned my viewpoint a little bit now, like where I try to look for maybe like kits that actually Josh does that too, like with your, the Gunpla
Gunpla,
yeah, exactly. Like things like that, right? Where you just look at it and be like, oh, there's all these cool different things, and I just love like, changing it up. So now I look for kits like that. But as an aside, sometimes I like kind of palette cleanser builds kind of thing. So that's where I actually really like sometimes just buying like kits that I think are really cool, or like P Bandai kits, for example, that I don't have to paint. And I just like snap up together, and then like just gloss coat, put some water slides, and then matte coat, and then I'm done. And like I love that, right? And I think that's where P Bandai is really, really good, because like you can get these really cool color schemes, and like usually you don't want to paint like a P Bandai because you're buying it for its its different color scheme, right? So I really like doing that. So I found that I've been kind of accumulating these palette cleanser kits kind of thing, right? And so that's one area I find I really, really like looking into and buying too. So there's kind of like two different extremes. So
I have to do that. I haven't done that in a while. Is build a kit, like
it's
actually
liberating.
Put water decals, not do anything to it.
Yeah.
And then just put it up on my shelf. Right. I haven't done that in a while because I don't. There's like a secret pressure, like some invisible pressure on me that says I have to customize it. And I feel like sometimes I should just step back and just enjoy the build.
Yeah.
With decals up on my shelf.
It's very freeing. It's very, very freeing, and I absolutely love doing that, because there's a lot of times if you get too much into customizing, you can end up like just overdoing it and kind of ruining the original beauty of the suit and the aesthetic of it. So yeah, I love doing that actually. Yeah. So I have to do it more too, but
for sure. Real quick, Wolfang says, even though Gunpla isn't that popular in the West, it is nice to see so many passionate people. I'm especially happy to see the staff of the USA Gundam store, a place I patronize proudly. And then he cheered 100. So thank you so much for the cheer, Wolfang. We appreciate that so much. We are definitely passionate about this, or else we wouldn't be here. So thank you so much for coming over and watching, and we hope you guys enjoy the show so far. But yeah, so definitely a lot more palette cleansing builds we should be doing, just to kind of refresh our minds. But how about you, Josh?
I'm not, well, so when I got into the hobby, I really got into it, and then I just started buying kits and kits and kits, and so I kind of have every kit that has been produced in downstairs. Like I have so many kits, probably like you guys have, because it was my number one hobby. So basically any kit that I saw that I really wanted, I was like, I'm buying this. It's I saw somebody on another podcast that are into video games, and they go, I buy every video game that I want to play because that is my thing. And I'm like, that's cool. I like that, because if you can't afford it, again, I don't have kids, so this is currently cool. I won't be able to do this soon. For ages there, I just bought anything I wanted and just loved putting them together. And I was mainly a snap builder. Like I would only customize once a year for GBWC maybe. I would just enjoy snapping, and I really enjoy filing down the nubs, getting it nice and smooth, maybe giving it a little, with those like Scotch-Brite kind of pads, just kind of brushing over the whole kit to give it the matte coat. It's not painted, but it looks kind of nice and soft. Yeah. And I feel with you there, Ryan, on the P Bandai. I bought the Marasai unicorn colors, the green Marasai. Nice. This is like 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah. I saw it come out because I don't like the pinky red one, and I just love army green. And I bought that kit, and I just love that kit because I didn't need to paint it, and it's in the colors that I like. But so currently now what I buy, I don't buy too many, but any master grades that come out that I like, just instant buy. So I got Mark V.
Nice.
Zach hooked me up with that one because I always say, "Oh, Zach, can you please get me this?" Because P Bandai is hard to get here. So that was really fun snapped it together. Cool. So my number one joy now is, the reason why I buy any kit really is if it's a master grade, I'm just dying to see what the inner frame's like, what the parts are like, and I open up the box, look at all the runners, and I go through the instructions, and I go, oh, that's the arm, and it's so fun seeing the new part and putting it together. And my standard thing is I'll put it together and like leave half of it kind of inner frame, because I just like seeing that, and then that's where I stop. I never actually finish it. So much like I built this guy last week, the sniper custom.
Oh, I love that
and he's half inner frame as well.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's so good. So this is the other part of what I buy is I like the more realistic, mechanically looking ones.
Yeah.
So this one here, I love him because he's super boxy and realistic. And this guy's realistic and ridiculous. It's so big.
Gosh, I
so
gotta make a
that's why I
comment.
kind of like it.
Just how awesome just your poses are. Like just the pose right there. It's like perfect with the head tilt, the arm, the feet. I just love that. Like normally when people pick up a kit, they're like, "Oh, I just snapped this
it's
up."
mangled.
The head's like the arms. I just gotta comment on how much I love that pose. You know,
it's the same pose. I'm not creative. It's exactly that's how my Zeta is posed. It's because it's that. What's the stoic museum pose? I think it's called where they're just doing.
It's a Superman. It's a Superman pose.
Yeah.
It's a Superman pose. Yeah.
The Sniper Custom is such underrated kit. Sorry to cut you off. I was just saying it's underrated.
No,
I love
go.
the fact that you built it. Such a beautiful kit.
It is.
It's so nice, and it's based on the 2.0 RX-78 frame, of course. So it's got the really cool leg details, all the pistons and stuff.
Yeah.
It's fantastic because I really enjoy still building the inner frame because it feels kind of like I'm building something that's real. So that's still the thing that I remember when I first started. It felt like they were kind of alive and I was putting them together. That kind of magic to it. I really like that.
Do you display your snap builds? Like how do you display all the ones you snap?
Having like 1,000 of them out on a shelf isn't really my kind of thing. It just feels like you lose.
Cluttered.
I kind of lose I lose the effect of it. So I have like 3 or 4 sitting on my desk right now. And so I have them out on display, and then I'll put them away, and then I go through my bags where I have them all bagged, and I go, oh man, this dude, and I put him out, and I just stand there and look at him again, and it's like I'm seeing him kind of fresh again.
That's awesome.
So another dude that I did recently, watch out, nearly knocked one off, is the Ozla Hazel.
Oh, dang.
Nice.
That's the one I want.
So good, because the Hazel's chunky, super chunky, more realistic and boxy, and just hazels are fantastic, and it's so good we're getting so many in master grade size. So now from being in the hobby for ages, I think my tastes have kind of morphed a bit. So like you said with the Gab Flea, Ryan, I would have been like, what is this bug design? And then once I've built a bunch, you kind of devour all those things, and then you go, what is this dude? And it's super unique and creative. So I'm kind of getting a bit more like that, where I like those. So my tastes kind of have morphed into that. Yeah. Cool. So that's it. But I still love. I teach at a YMCA school, an art class, like a couple times a week, and I took some Gundam kits in with the kids to go. I wonder if they're gonna like it. I mean, these kids are devouring them. They love them so much. So each week I'll go to the hobby shop near me and pick out some, and I'm not buying any from me, but still just seeing them on the shelf. Seeing the pictures on the side and stuff, I've seen these kits countless times before, and I still pick them up and look at them. It's so much fun. So it's nice.
I do have to disagree though. Like I understand it's a personal preference, but I like having my kits out there. And the reason why, and my wife, she doesn't make fun of me, but she laughs when I tell her, is because I feel like they're alive. So if I put them away,
yes, that's what I was saying.
I put them away, I feel like they'll feel bad, and so it's like no, like I love you too, you know, like I'm gonna put you here. And so every once in a while, I'll like clean them out, right, with a little brush of the dust, so that way they feel like, I know they're inanimate objects, they're not alive, but I just feel like part of me is in there, so I have to make sure they're nice and they feel taken care of, you know? It's like
that's awesome.
On display.
That's great. That's like when you're younger and you have like one of your toys and you're like, oh, I'm carrying this one around, but then you feel bad for the other one. It's like smushed on the bed under the pillows. Why do we do that? But I think it's lovely. It's great.
I don't know. And the thing is, I don't think it's all children. I'm gonna say it's not all children, because some children don't take care of their toys now. You know, that's some children. But the way that I grew up, and my dad, when my dad was cool and he was around, he bought me a bunch of Legos. So all of my Lego kits, I would have them nicely up in display. And so up until I had siblings that wanted to play with my stuff, that's when they started breaking, right? But me personally, I like having my stuff there to look at and admire. And I'll pick them up every once in a while and play with them. And we were watching the Evangelion movies at Derek's house the other day. And I was just like, I'm so mad because I don't have my RG Evangelion Unit 1 with me. Because I would love to have it next to me while I'm watching it, right? And then, thank God, the 3.0 is coming out in Amazon Prime in a few days. Well, in August. So yeah.
Oh, man. It's been a long time. I'm excited for that.
But yeah, so I'm just gonna move on to another question because you guys actually covered every question he had on here basically because it was mainly just about how you guys choose. So awesome, thank you so much.
He's like, guys, don't talk too long. All I wanted to know is, do you just pick it off the shelf or do you order online? You went too far into it.
No, not at all. I love hearing you guys. The more you guys talk, the less I have to talk. And the people who follow the show have heard me talk long enough. This show has been going over a year now, so it's good that other people are talking. The next thing that I want to ask you guys, this comes from Noble Mecha. He says, what's it like entering kits in GBWC now compared to back in the day?
Well, that's a good question for you guys.
I don't enter, so...
It's Ryan.
Yeah. Does he mean like now where with like there is no actual physical competition? Is that what he's kind of meaning?
I don't know. Like it's that one's vague on top, okay. But he just wants to know how, maybe there's a difference to how it was done back then,
or maybe the
competition is a lot more difficult
over
now.
The years?
Yeah, like I don't know.
I see. I think what you're saying, Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, I think early on in the years, like it's a common topic that a lot of people talked about. But I think before a lot of people would focus. Actually, you know what's amazing? I was looking back at like 2013, 2012 entries, and they're like pretty mind blowing too, man. Like the dioramas are like so grand and like. But anyways, I think generally the trend has been like bigger and better kind of thing. Well, bigger and quote better, right? Because I don't know, I one of my all-time favorite suits was the new Gundam from Japan.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was honestly one of my favorite entries because I feel like that really set the bar with how like clean and amazing and mechanical like someone can achieve in terms of making mods like by hand, right? Yeah. So for me that was definitely a highlight, right? But I mean, I feel like over the years it has changed a lot in terms of morphing the concept, and I think Win really changed it a lot too, like with his like wood entry where he won like first place in the world, I think, or something. But I think generally nowadays like entries are kind of bigger, you know, tell a story as opposed to the focus of just an individual suit kind of thing and what modifications you did to it. I think it's like your interpretation of Gunpla. And so so I feel like that's really how the competition's really morphed over the years, you know.
I see.
And you know, and every year they always speculate like, oh, you know, like after all it is kind of a marketing thing, right, for Bandai. So, what are some suits that they might want to highlight, right? Or you know, but I don't know. Like I think you should just I think the important thing is coming up with a good original concept kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And executing it to the best of your ability kind of thing. But I think that's really how it's changed. It's become a lot more kind of, you know, how you morph that idea of something completely different and apply it to Gunpla.
Yeah.
And how well it's executed, I guess, you know. I see that a lot. So
I'm just real quick before, because I see Josh just wanting to pounce, but I do know what build you guys are talking about, because that new is one of my favorites too. I've been looking at it recently, ever since Ryan, you sent me yours over, and I just been looking at it, and it was a similar time, but it's like you said, the focus is definitely on the skill as opposed to the storytelling nowadays.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, sorry, Josh. Yeah, there you go, man.
No. I was actually in Japan that year, so I got to see that in person.
Oh,
it happened to be my first trip to Japan. I was only in the Gunpla for a year, and then I'm like, this is like a Gundam competition where they customize it. What's this? I had no idea what I was seeing, and I was like, and I have some photos on my phone still of the new, and it blew me away because it was so realistic, which is why I like Gundam. But as you were describing that, Ryan, I was thinking like, because GBWC hasn't been around that long, and so it kind of was in its infancy sort of then, which kind of you might be able to liken it to when artists started to do photorealism with their painting.
Yes.
And it would get better and better, and people were like, holy crap, look how real this looks, that's amazing. But then you go, okay, everybody can do photorealism, the skill is there, but now we want creativity, and we want something else. So I think maybe just like any art form, it kind of goes to this way, and then that falls off, and we go another way. So I'm guessing that's kind of what's happened.
That's a perfect analogy.
Because I really like I really like the realistic builds myself, the fantasy ones, not as much. So I could look at the realistic ones forever.
Yeah.
But if a whole competition was all the realistic ones, we'd be just like, okay, so now we look at how technically well you do the panel lines. Yeah, so it would kind of get same. So maybe that's kind of what it is, yeah.
That's a great analogy. I totally agree with that, because like it comes to some point where I feel like the winners that they choose are always people who like push the boundaries a little bit more, or have done things that no one's seen anymore, you know? And so obviously it's hard, because nowadays people are so, and with social media, everyone's sharing like so many original ideas, right? And so it is getting, you know, it is hard, right, to build something completely original and kind of like to push the boundaries of like Gunpla, right? Like, so I mean, it's interesting, you know.
I think on that note is I feel the Gundam and myself, because I'm in social media all the time, I feel it's more going towards how you present your kit as opposed to what you've done to your kit. Because I've seen a lot of people who build kits that I don't think are as good as other people who built other kits, but the way they present them with their pictures and the way they just present them in general, even you see it on YouTube, that's what's really pushing everything, right? Like, it doesn't matter if this person is the best, but hey, they have great, presenting skills, and there you go. I think that's what it's kind of moving to, hence why the telling the story. And Choco Falcon says, personally, I feel we either use the skill to impress or tackle the emotion of the audience. So that's it.
Hey, wow.
Ask you guys. So I know here in the U.S. we have an online portion of the competition. If I remember correctly, Josh, you guys in Australia, you just have one event, correct? Or am I wrong in thinking?
Oh, yeah, in Australia, the Classic is one event in Sydney, in one of our capital cities. Everybody takes their kit down. Yeah.
Okay, so there's no online at all in Australia?
I don't think there is. Yeah, from memory, yeah.
In Canada? I have no idea how it works in Canada.
Yeah, Canada, basically we have an East live competition and a West live competition, and also an online competition.
Okay.
But before COVID was shutting down, they were talking of opening up more live competitions across Canada, like another one or possibly 2 locations. Yeah. But you know, the most recent one was West, East, and online.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. Because just like you were saying there, Jess, how you present the kit. I mean, if you're submitting on the online portion, I mean, you've really got to present those pictures. You got to get the right angle, and I know here they look for any editing in those pictures. They don't want any editing whatsoever. So presenting it is huge. So yeah, well, I'm just curious how it works in other countries.
Before we go on to the next question, this is something I'm going to try out for the first time, guys. So I'm just letting you guys know because I didn't know that we could do it. So, but thank you guys for joining in, Noble. We have Magic Mike. Noble, thanks for subscribing again to the channel. Really awesome of you. And Wolfang, right after this ad break, we'll get to your questions, which you have right there. So that's the first thing. I'm going to try this out for the first time. I'm going to run in 1 minute ad break. So I've never done this. I never even knew that we could do it. And apparently we could have been making a little bit of money out of that. You know, again, all the money that comes into here goes right back into GTS. I don't get to keep a dime of it, all right? But so I'm gonna run a 1 minute ad break. Be right back, guys. All right, so now they're pre-roll are disabled for 20. I don't know. It's 55 seconds. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna ask the questions that they that Wolfgang had here. I'm just gonna read it out loud real quick, just so you guys know what he asked. He said, "What are your thoughts on Western people being more common in GBWC? And also, how do you follow the GBWC? Like, do you guys follow it online? Like, how do you guys follow it? But I think the main question is how, in general, how do we all feel about Westerners being more in the GBWC as opposed to before, right? So that's we'll get into that in 20 seconds, and then I have one more question, and then we'll talk about some other stuff before we go, because I don't want you guys to get bored of Gunpla or stuff like that. You know.
Oh, not bored. This is going too far.
I know, and I'm trying to, Josh, because you told me you had something to do after the show. So.
Yeah, I'm going to ride my one wheels, but this is what last time I was on the show with you, Jess. I'm like, damn it, too fast. I could have talked. We got to do this again, please. Yeah.
All right, guys, we completed a 1 minute ad break. Thank you for staying on the ad break. If you guys did stay, it helps support the channel. So thank you so much. So we're gonna go into Wolfang's questions, which I already read to you guys, which is basically, what are your thoughts on Westerners being more common in the GBWC? So I'm gonna let all of you guys answer here. Adam, we're gonna start off with you this time around, yeah.
Me personally, I think it's a great thing. Here in the United States, I guess I can speak on that. The demand for Gunpla and the interest in just the Gundam franchise itself is just exploded. Obviously due to COVID, but even before COVID, I mean, it was on a very steep incline on getting into people's mindsets. People that never even knew what it was, seeing it for the first time in a few different like main stores here, and then kind of getting into it and looking for us more dedicated stores. But it's I think it's great. It's obviously kind of like a new, fresh thing for a ton of people, and a lot of people. There's obviously a lot of people that have a lot of good skills, but there's a lot of people learning those skills. So there's a lot of information getting shared out there, and a lot of different videos in live streams and stuff like that that's kind of popping up left and right here in the States, which is, I mean, it's kind of a really great time for the Gunpla community here in the States anyways, because it's new and because more people are getting involved and sharing more stuff and bringing over skill sets from armored modeling or different other train modeling stuff for dioramas and things like that. Bring those skills over and bring those into the Gunpla hobby. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I think any growth in a hobby that you're in is always a positive thing. In the long run, maybe in the short run, depending what people get involved, it might not be, but. Always in the long run, I think it's always positive for any hobby. The more popular it gets.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a good answer. How about you, Ryan?
It's a really good question. I agree with everything Adam said as well too. I remember and it wasn't even that long ago, like 2015, 2016. I'd be trying to look for tools, and I would not be able to buy it anywhere, like at least not locally at all, and I remember paying an arm and a leg for like a chisel. It was like it took forever to ship, and then it was crazy. Or even things like paints, like where I live, like we didn't sell Mr. Color paints at all, so I had to buy I had to be like Adam and guess 3 months down the road what builds I'm building and what paints I would need, and I would often, and it was crazy. Like it was so hard to get these materials, right? And so whereas now, because of, I mean, I wouldn't say GBWC. Well, yes and no, because GBWC was open to Canada in 2017, and I think that kind of sparked a lot of the interest to, at least in Canada. It was always North America before, right? And so I feel like that really consolidated a lot of the modelers, the closet modelers here in Canada. And so, that's when Facebook groups started popping up, and consolidated people across Canada kind of thing. So I think GBWC did a big thing in terms of uniting that. And also echoing what Adam said, it's really cool because like there's people who have been modeling in many other disciplines like train, military, very common in North America. And so I feel that they've been able to bring that type of background and influence into their builds. One slight downside that I might have noticed too is in GBWC, of course, the final judges are Japanese, right? And so I feel that Japanese aesthetic is generally very different, than what North American aesthetic may like more. I'm really generalizing here though, right? So, like for example, they favor clean builds generally, more than really heavily weathered builds. I feel like maybe they I don't know, just general aesthetic. It's hard to explain, right? And so that may be something that I feel might be a translation, or not translation, but like it might be a difficulty I feel for maybe a lot of Western modelers, right? Yeah. Not to say that you have to conform though. Like if you love like weathering and stuff, by all means, like do it, right? Like do what you love and do what you excel in, right? And submit that as your entry and stuff, right? I'm talking specifically for GBWC, right? So but I've seen that, but at the same time I'm so happy that they're welcoming these new countries into GBWC, right? Because it's really allowing us, to be able to participate in this whole, Bandai Love Fest kind of thing, So yeah, that's that's my 2 cents.
I don't have anything really to add other than more people into a hobby means like more tools, more paints everywhere, more access to all the stuff, and everybody's just having fun doing stuff. So I think it's just great. Yeah,
I agree.
I didn't even think about this until Ryan mentioned it. Just the accessibility of tools, kind of from a store standpoint. When we were first started, I would reach out to companies and I wouldn't get a response. Now, when I reach out to those same companies saying, "Hey, it's getting popular over here," they are more than happy to start shipping us stuff. So that's one benefit. I didn't even think about that. It didn't even click until you mentioned that, Ryan. So, but that's a huge benefit for sure.
Yeah, they're like, oh, USD, huh? Time to start signing over.
Like, we finally in Canada got the Tamiya enamels. Like, we finally got it, and like. I remember trying to buy tons of them when I was in Japan, but then my wife would always remind me, like, "Oh, Ryan, they might confiscate this, and you might get in trouble." And so I went to like three to five different stores. I would pick out all my paints, and I'm about to pay for them, and then I would remember what my wife told me. I'm like, "Okay, never mind. I'll just put these all back because I don't want to get in trouble with customs." So, anyways, but yeah, like things like that is amazing. I'm like, wow, we have Tamiya enamels finally, right? Like, so. Anyways.
And that's good. It's a good point because I remember if you guys followed social media when I think PewDiePie made a video a long time ago. I think it was like a year ago, and he made a video where he talked about like a Gundam or he built one. And there was a lot of gatekeepers, which is actually one of the questions that's on here on the chat from Drons, who says, "How do you deal with gatekeepers in the hobby? There's so many of them here in our country." And he's from the Philippines. But what I was going for is, I remember the community was divided on whether people hated the fact that there were a lot of that PewDiePie did it because it's gonna bring it more mainstream, or people that are fake in the sense of liking it and they're getting into it. And at the end of the day, to me, putting my 2 cents in there, and I said it a long time ago. I think it was actually a year ago. I said it on stream. I'm like, I don't care as long as we get more people in the hobby. More people in the hobby means more kits. It means more demand. It means more tools. It means more friends. Like, it just means so much more that I don't think we should gatekeep, right? When it comes to who gets into the hobby and the fact that Westerners are going over there, like Child of Mecca, right? Tim, like his Jesta really pushed. I feel. When I've talked to all of these people that I've interviewed, and looking, especially on the Western side of things, I feel like he was one of the first to really go up there from the United States to kind of stand up and be like, okay, from this side of the world, we're not playing around. Here we are to play. Right? It was the Jesta. And I think looking at that side of things, it means a lot of good things, the fact that we have people going over there, be it from Canada like Ryan, or be it from the U.S. like Tim. So I think there's a lot to benefit from there. Wait, what's up?
Well, I was just said, or Australia.
Or Australia. Like, oh no, the thing is, do I count Australia as Western?
Yeah, I would say so.
Really?
Southwest.
Okay, because I'm not even kidding. When Josh and Ryan were talking about this, I was like, wait, where do I put Josh? Do I put him in the West? I put him in
I'm so offended right now, and you're gonna have to decide why I'm offended. I'm just kidding.
I'm so sorry.
Please don't.
That's it, guys. We're closing the stream.
Dude, I actually don't care at all.
No, I'm so sorry. That's my ignorance on my side. Like, I don't know where to put Australia, right? I feel bad, and I'm turning red.
Stop. I don't care. It's funny. Oh man. Oh gosh.
Oh man. But no.
we broke Jesse.
No, it's okay. No, Wolfang says, I don't mind that PewDiePie made the video. I just want to see Gundam. I just don't want to see Gundam get to mainstream. I don't want it going the way of Star Wars. As much as
that's interesting.
I want to hear your thoughts. Guys.
So for me, I mean, obviously mainstream means more demand and more popularity, and more kits sold. But I mean, besides that, I mean, I just generally think even if it goes to a Star Wars route, I mean, you're always going to surround yourself with people that you enjoy being around, and people that are the same mindset in the hobby you're in. So even regardless if you have, let's just say there's a toxic person, you really wouldn't put yourself even with that person. For me, I don't even try. I've learned not to even focus on negative people, whether that be someone said that their box got damaged in shipping, and I used to be like, oh no, and now it's you try to solve that problem, but you don't take what they say on social media or anything to heart. So I take that with gatekeepers too. You're always gonna put yourself around people you enjoy, and if there's someone that you don't really think what they're saying is appropriate, you just don't. For me, I don't associate myself with them, and
yeah. It's a good way to work around those things, right? Don't fill with negative people, and it happens because look, we were talking about this. Adam and I were talking about this before the show even started, and I don't want to get into specifics. We were talking about like drama and the scene and stuff, right? And it's like, well, when I've had people approach me with drama, I tell people, I don't really want to get into drama. I'm just here to have fun. And when it comes to gatekeeping and people that are new to the hobby, I want to welcome them, right? Which is what GTS is for. That's what I really sought out to do, is create a community where people could come in, be it having Choco Falcon or Simon Lamb or Ryan Lau or Joshua in the Discord, or having somebody who's brand new and just picked up a kit and is like, hey, I built my first RX-78 entry grade. It's how it is, right? I just really do feel like everybody should be very welcoming to everybody else when it comes to this hobby, because I think that's what makes the hobby. I think what makes this hobby amazing is the people. Because I'm a people person, right? And I've met so many amazing people, company included, within this hobby, and I wouldn't change that for the world, right? I love everybody in the GTS fam. So yeah, but I'm gonna ask one more question here to you guys, and then we can talk about some other stuff before the show ends. This is just a very quick, maybe it's a quick question, maybe it's a question that you guys are like, oh, why do you ask this? But it's what kits are your dream kits? Now I know it's a very generic question, but it's a real question, right? What are your dream kits? Now, Adam, I know you have a bounty of kits in front of you, but what's your dream kit, man?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean that's a great question, because you think of so many different things. You think of kits that haven't even you pray they'll get made, or you just decide to make it yourself to the best of your ability. Dream kit though,
is this like dream kit that is made, that's released, or something that you just want to see come out?
Let's make it a two-part so we can make it fun.
Okay,
let's make it one that exists, and let's make it one that Bandai refuses to make. All right.
So probably one that they will make here. So I'll put this in the existing, because I don't know the answer to this, but I have a feeling that they will make a Sword Calamity RE. It'll obviously probably be P Bandai, and if Bandai is watching this, I do not know. So if that is coming, I didn't spoil anything. I've gotten
I love that
before, so
like you actually guessed right, or
well.
Or maybe
it was more the lines of they didn't tell me not to say something, and I said it on one of our Zach streams, and it wasn't like telling a name of a kit. It was more saying there would be more kits coming in a specific line of kits.
Did I just get Adam in trouble?
A phone call like an hour after that. Hey,
oh wow!
So I was like, I'm sorry.
They watch you. Wow, that's amazing.
They watch. Look, I'm not kidding. They watch.
Yeah.
I have a friend in France who told me that Bandai knows about GTS. Hence why I steer away from drama.
Yep.
So even with like Clamod, I know that we're not directly under DMCA, but I do know of things that are coming that maybe some people don't know that are coming out, and I can't say anything. Because Clamod has been amazing to us, right? Our sponsor Clamod. And they're just some of the kindest people ever. Sean, I mean, you know Sean, Adam, right?
Yeah.
Sean's great. Derek and I, we know a lot of things that are coming out sometimes, but we just can't say anything. And so so I'm just like, I try to stay away from drama, try to be a good boy. Everything's fine. But yes, so there we go.
I get it. They for sure watch. I'm just on the impression they watch anything that I'm on. So I just, you don't want to ever diverge anything.
And That's good, Adam, because the person that I talked to told me that Bandai watches everything in the hobby, basically. So they know about some of the stuff that happened some time ago with some drama that happened between some people. And those people, for Bandai, they're like blacklisted. Like they're not going to approach them for anything. So staying away from drama is the best thing that you can do if you're in this hobby. Just stay away from it. If people want to start drama, let them talk to themselves. That's it. Don't touch me. You know.
That's it.
Yep. So I guess back to the question. Sword Calamity, I would say, would be my made kit because I'm sure it's gonna get made. I'm in some sort of P Bandai thing, which I actually have the resin kit that converted the Master Grade Freedom, the original Master Grade Freedom, into the Sword Calamity, and I built that probably like 6 years ago. And I love that. I mean, I just love the Sword Calamity design. I like the regular Calamity design, but the Sword Calamity is one of my top ones. Kit that hasn't been produced. I would love a Master Grade Rosen Zulu. I think that would be really cool.
Oh, dude! I didn't even think of that.
That would be a cool kit. Fingers crossed, Bandai, I know you're listening. That one would be great.
I know there was a 1/100 maybe resin kit. I think Zach got it as well to go over the Sinanji. Yeah. And I was like blown away. I'm like, I never thought of the Rosen being 1/100 scale. Oh.
It's pretty good. That's a pretty good answer, man. Good one, Adam. All right, Joshua, you're up, man.
Okay, I'm gonna try a screen share. We'll see if this even works.
Ooh,
share my screen.
I know
okay.
We could do that.
Go live. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can you see that?
I mean, wait a second. So this is gonna mess up the whole grid. Let me fix it real quick.
No, don't worry about it. I'm just gonna stop streaming.
No. Leave it there. Leave it there. We'll leave it like this for right now, and then when you're done, we'll bring it back. Nice.
Oh, is it working now?
Yeah, it's working. It's working. I can see it.
I thought it was gonna. I forgot Discord does this stuff. Anyway, this is the. I didn't even know this was a thing. This is the Gallus S, and it's just a really cool design. Kind of Marasai-ish, really long legs, high heels, cool shoulders, cool everything. The backpack is just fantastic.
Wow.
Zach and I talk about this one.
I love the calf area.
Oh.
The three.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so beautiful.
So angular, and all those little Advance of Zeta, little tiny colored vents everywhere. Yeah.
So this is the dream kit that hasn't been created yet.
Hasn't been created yet. Yep.
Okay.
And I also I don't think there's a kit it's my dream kit that has been created. So I'm just going to say a second one that hasn't been created, and that's the Gira Zulu. 1/100 Gira Zulu Master Grade would be really cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
So those are mine. Yep. Okay. I'll stop making up the grid now.
I love that. Somebody, Grumpy Mal's like, who broke the screen?
What was great is
it's back.
It's face when it came up.
I was like, yes. It's okay. We handle it. Real quick before we go to Ryan, I just want to say people are commenting. They're saying, Magic Mike says Axia 2.0, please. Is the Virtue Box art released yet? Because he wants to see if it's in the background. And then Wolfang says Gundam Extra Repair 4. It's the only truly left-handed Gundam, and I want it in every grade. Kid Chaos says I want an RG Tequila Gundam. I want one of those too. I want my people represented. All right. But I also want an RG Double X. And then Magic Mike says RG or MG IBO kits. I need them clear parts on the head. My wife says she wants a PG Sasabi. She just wants.
Oh my god.
She wants a PG. My wife loves the Sasabi. And then Gunpla is Gunpla Simon Lamb. Oh, Simon is here. It's Simon. I didn't.
Hey, Simon.
Simon Lamb. He says I need a Psycho 2. And then Bob the Kroll says a PG Double Gundam. But all right, Ryan, we're gonna go with you real quick.
Nice. One kit that I've always wanted. I've always now I've been collecting 3.0 RX-78 2s. And so they came out with a mechanical clear version of that like many years ago.
Oh, yes.
I really want that one. I mean, you can buy it on eBay kind of thing, but I looked all over Japan for it. I couldn't find it and stuff, but that's kind of one I really want because I think it just looks so cool. And it's like the pure clear, and then you can see the frame underneath kind of thing. So that's one. The GM Turbulence. That's what I really like. I also like the the MG Ocelot that you just showed, Josh. That's one that I really want to. Any AOZ kits, I especially in master form, I would love. In terms of ones that haven't been made, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, it's never gonna happen. But like an MG Kshatriya 2.0, I know it's never gonna happen, but yeah, that's
it's always there. Dream. It's always there, man. Like
one can dream.
Always.
Another one
Ryan.
Yeah.
You don't have the Elin Kshatriya, do you?
No. I would.
I'm gonna make you really jealous right now.
You bought it?
I got one like maybe like 5 years ago or something. And
oh my
god, it's huge.
I just brought it out of a box that was under my house, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that. Oh wait, let's see if I can do it. Hang on, wait.
Don't tell me it has LEDs.
Oh, it does have them. Let me see if I can get them to work.
Are the binders like metal?
Oh,
dang!
It's pretty good.
Did you get the side Gatling guns for that, Josh, too?
Dang.
No, I don't. Don't make me feel bad. Yeah, it's got the boosters on the back. Yeah,
that's so gorgeous, man.
Whoa! Okay, no. Okay, now I'm gonna stop my show and tell.
That is gorgeous.
That's what I get for bragging.
See, it's possible to make, right? And it'd be so awesome if I made it.
So this is Josh for the next till the show ends. He's gonna be holding it in place.
Yep. This is fantastic. It's falling apart all over the place.
No. Such a sexy, beautiful kit.
That is so beautiful.
You know what, Ryan? I'm gonna say the MG Kshatriya for something that's never been made. But here's the thing that I've told everybody whenever we talked about this, because it's a topic that just comes up all the time. But if they make an MG Kshatriya, it needs. Whenever I think of a Kshatriya, I immediately think of yours. So if there's going to be a Kshatriya coming out, it has to be that level of detail for me, or else I don't want to see it.
Yes.
No. I just want it to be represented, just kind of in a bigger form. Everyone loves the design, right? So we
talked about it. I talked about it with the Crow, with Crow Sama, my boy Crow Sama, and it's a Gundam on the season finale for season 3. And what I told him is, it feels like Bandai, it probably has the Kshatriya already made. They're just waiting for that time where everything goes down, and they're like, all right, emergency, boom, MG Kshatriya, here you go, guys. Oh, a Taco Builder is here. Hey, man. Taco Builder's here. Dream kit. So real quick, my dream kits were the Sasabi and the MG new Verka. So I got the Sasabi a year ago, and thanks to Ryan, I now have the new Verka, which I immediately built in a day because I wanted.
How good is that kit? How good is it?
I love it. Obviously, a lot of people talk about the ankles and stuff, but I love it. It's already up there next to the Sasabi in my shelf that is Char versus Armor, and it was one of the final pieces. But my dream kit now is the Metal New. It's the Metal New. If I could get my hands on a Metal New at the correct price that isn't gouging my eyes, I would be happy. Because people are selling it for like 2,000 USD, right? And it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, people are just it's terrible. But the MG new, the PG new metal build, or it would have been the Sasabi metal build, which is supposedly going to come out this year, but it feels like they're not going to do it. You guys didn't see it? They even had pictures of it. The
I
metal
saw the
Sasabi.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it. Holy crap! That would be huge.
It's huge. No, it exists, but I don't know if they're actually going to release it anymore. So.
Wow.
You should pre-order that, Jess. You should definitely pre-order that.
Okay, I'm not kidding you when I say this. When we saw that news, my wife immediately went up to me and she's like, I don't care how we're going to do it, but we're pre-ordering this thing.
Oh.
I don't think you guys understand how much my wife loves the Sasabi. Like, she adores it. So
Jess, what I'll do for you, because when the new was given out, I think they gave 3 stores an allocated amount, and we were one of them, and then Bluefin kept them here and kept part of them and sold them themselves. I think they gave them to us. I know Big Bad Toy Store had some, and I think one other store had some. If they do that again when they decide to, or if they decide to do the Sasabi, I'll hold one for you.
Oh my God! Please do, man. Thank you, dude. If that happens,
wow.
Please
I don't.
do,
Again,
man.
I don't know if we'll get any, or if Bandai will decide to keep them themselves and sell them on the USP Bandai site. They might decide to do that. I hope they don't, and I hope they let stores get some of them at least. But if they do give me any, I'll hold one for you.
Oh, thanks, man. I would really appreciate that, because if my wife, like, she would just come in here and just tell you guys how much she loves the Sasabi. She absolutely adores it, and that's the only reason why I would get it, as much as I love it too. But you got to keep the wife happy, right?
Yeah,
which is the awesome part.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. Noble Mecha, thanks for cheering the 100 bits, man. Thank you guys for typing in the chat. You know, a lot of you guys were telling us what you guys wanted, and I love seeing. I didn't read Noble Mechas earlier because I just knew one of you was going to say it, which is the MG Kasatra. But yeah, that's going to be so cool. But with that said, we only have 5 minutes left in the show, so I want to first. I just want to say thank you so much, guys, for being on here.
Yeah,
seriously.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Jess.
It was
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I was laughing. We had good laughs. And guys, this is what No Grade Sessions is about, right? Just having a conversation. It doesn't matter. First part was hobbies and all of that. A little bit of Gunpla at the end, obviously, because that's what we love all together. But I do want to invite you guys to visit USA Gundam Store if you guys are in the US, and use the code TALK10 to save 10% on your next purchase. Go over there. They have a bunch of stuff in stock. And Adam is just the nicest, so come on, you want to keep that guy happy, right? And Joshua, seriously, man, thank you so much. I know that over there you have plans. Ryan, you too. So you guys want to say anything before we completely go off?
No, just thank you for having us on. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for everyone that shops with us. I wouldn't be here without you guys, supporting us, and thank you, Jess, for having us all on. I mean, it's cool to be able to talk to people from around the world that's in the hobby, and people I've looked up to, and I've talked to Josh once or twice before. I've never talked to Ryan before that I can remember, so it's awesome to be able to talk to him and meet him. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, guys. Well, with that said, guys, we're going to end the stream right here. We will see you guys on Wednesday with What's Up Discord, where we do the showcase for community over there on the GTS Discord. So be sure to go over there and share all of your work in progress. Like Simon Lamb's on there. Well, I think Choco Falcon hasn't been on there for a while. What's wrong with you, Choco Falcon? Come back. And everybody, UBO, Noble Mecha. Anyway, guys, love you. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care. This is Master Grade Jess signing out, and we'll talk later.